Hello, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to another episode of Off the Beaten Path, the show that looks at paranormal events both historically as well as in modern day times. As always, I'm your host, Rev.hagen, and as always, I'd like to welcome our listeners at SCRMradio.com. That's Scream. Radio.com for all your horror and paranormal needs. Now, this is a very special show for me because today is Yule, aka the winter solstice. It is the longest night of the year. I've said before on this show and other places as well that I am a priest of Wicca. That's where I get the reverend, right? Wicca is a little bit different than your normal Abrahamic religions or a lot of other religions out there. And the big difference is this. There's what I call organized religion, okay? And then there are initiatory paths. Wicca is one of those initiatory paths. The day you start to study, the day you're accepted into a group, the day you're initiated into a group, a circle, a coven, whatever you want to call it, you are in training to become a priest. We don't have somebody that preaches on a pulpit, as it were. Now, that's how I was raised from an old Gardnerian tradition in San Francisco years ago. There is nobody that speaks for all of Wicca. I can only speak for my tradition. And my tradition celebrates the winter solstice today, which is Yule. Like I said, the longest night of the year. Now, just to clear it up, what is the winter solstice for people who don't know? And that's a legitimate question. We all know that the Earth rotates around the sun, okay? But it doesn't go in a perfect circle. It's more of an oblong, right? Goes way out and comes back in. Now, when it's close to the sun, that's the summer solstice. When it gets next to this side of the sun, it is the day that the day and the night are equal length. And then when it's way out here, when it's way the farthest out it can go, before it starts its journey back to the sun, is the longest night of the year because it's so far away from the sun. And it's where a lot of different religions get their idea of this time of year. Now, I won't speak for any other religion, and I'm honestly not downing any other religion out there at all. I'm only going to talk about mine, and I think personally that every religion is valid. One of the reasons I cleared up my religion before I got into Yule was because I had a couple of people question whether or not I was a legal reverend or not, and I wanted to make sure that that was clear. So when it comes to Yule, you may have heard the term before, like Nat King Cole, his song "A Christmas Carol." I'm trying to think of lyrics. Okay, it goes, chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletime carols being sung by a choir. Yuletime carol. Yule comes from Yuletime. Sorry, I hit the mic there. So the reason, what we do in my tradition is we light a log and it burns for 3 days. The reason that we do this, in kind of the crux of, I'm not going to get into the whole nuts and bolts of Yule, but the crux of it is this, is that during this long dark period in our year, right, where people can get really down, the smallest spark of hope is like a beacon in the void. In other words, when it's dark during these long dark days that we have during winter, it can get very depressing. But just know, not only is there a spark of hope, but after today, we're heading back into the light. The nights are going to start getting shorter and shorter, and we're going to be coming to spring, the spring equinox. Spring, where life is abundant, where your life is just springing out everywhere. Birds are having babies. Raccoons are having babies. People are having babies because, frankly, of the long winter nights, I think you know what I'm saying. So the reason I wanted to do this is I've had I know a few people that suffered from depression. And during this time of year, have taken their lives very sadly. And I know that a lot of people look at suicide and they say, oh, those selfish bastards, they leave everybody behind to deal with their pain. And while that is true, depression is a chemical gig, for one thing, okay? And it's clinical depression is caused by people not getting enough serotonin in their brains. Their body doesn't produce enough. So they're chemically that way. It's not their fault. We look at mental illness as is such a negative thing in this country, and it's bad, don't get me wrong. But if you had diabetes, you take your medication. And nobody go, oh, he's got diabetes. Don't listen to him. Do you know what I mean? There's a real stigma attached to it. And like I say, I've lost a few friends during this time of year. And throughout the year, not this year particularly, but throughout my life. I personally suffer from depression, and if it weren't for the VA, if it weren't for seeing my therapist and taking my medication, I would not be the Rev you see in front of you today, believe me. God, if it was only depression that I suffered from, life would be so much easier, right? Excuse me 1 second. I just got to clear my throat. So, please, during this time, I know we've kind of been sold a bill of goods that Christmas is joyous and it's happy and it's wonderful, and please, it should be. And if that's your family scene, if your family gets together and everybody loves each other and has a good time and they're just so happy to see each other, which is definitely the ideal and happens across the world, that's fantastic. But there are a lot of families where that's not the case, where when the family gets together, it's like a Tennessee Williams play. Do you know what I mean? It's like, everything kind of comes together. People haven't seen each other in years. Old grievances comes up. And to put it in very simple terms, a lot of people can feel very small and very sad during this time of year. But please know that, especially today on Yule, on the longest night of the year, that there's hope out there. There really is. Just hang on. There's an old saying, don't quit before the miracle. Okay? Whether you're a Christian, pagan, Jew, Buddhist, whatever the case may be, please don't quit before the miracle, all right? The only thing you can count on in this world, the only thing you can count on is change. The way you're feeling right now, if you're feeling down right now, it's going to change, my brothers and sisters. I promise you, I've been where you're at if you're down. And I've been where you're at if you're happy too. But this goes out to the people that are down during the silly season. Man, I have been there, my brothers and sisters. I know it's no place to be. And I've wanted to check out. But for whatever reason, something kept me going. And my life is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm still kicking and I'm still trudging forward on this path of destiny, right? So this is a lot shorter video than I usually make. And there's no paranormal event here I want to talk about. I could talk about the paranormal event of a woman being impregnated by a god and having an immaculate conception and giving birth to not just the Son of God, but God himself, which is the story of Christ. But that's not the path that I follow. If you do, God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. If you're Jewish, I hope you had a great Hanukkah. Sadly, I don't even know if it's still going on. If it is, happy Hanukkah to you. Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever the case may be. Again, my brothers and sisters, please, don't give up. Call somebody. I'm going to be flashing throughout this video the suicide prevention number because it really is important. If you don't feel like talking to a family member, I get it. If you're uncomfortable talking to your friends, you don't want them to see you as somebody that would do something like that, I get that too. Then pick up a phone, call the number on the screen, and talk to a stranger. They're not going to judge you. They're not going to think you're a piece of crap. They're going to think you're a hurting human being, and they're going to reach out and help you. But please don't give up. I know I've been saying that for the last 5 minutes or so, and it's really the message, not just of this video, but of this time of year, that if you can find that one spark, that one thing, I don't care if maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your pet, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your favorite TV show, maybe it's your favorite horror movie. I've got a couple. Maybe it's The Wonderful Life. You watch It's a Wonderful Life, you sob like a baby, and you drive on. Maybe it's Elf. A lot of people, their movie this year is Elf. It's a wonderful movie with Will Ferrell. I can't even watch It's a Wonderful Life anymore because I'm tired of crying. But if it gets you through this day, it gets you through the day. And I don't care what it takes. All right? Just, God, don't quit before the miracle. All right? God, I know things are hard. I've got illnesses going through me right now. You wouldn't believe. Family tragedies have happened over the years. My sister passing, to share some of the stuff that I've gone through. My bout with depression, getting out of the Army, going through divorce. All those things can be so hard. And especially like the people that have gone through a divorce or dealing with what they used to call a broken family, which I hate that. But people that have dealt with that. If you're a child of divorce, I know it's hard. I really do, having Christmas at 2 different households and feeling caught between your parents. I get it. Believe me, the Rev gets it. That happened to me. Both my parents remarried. They remarried maniacs, for God's sakes. And then they got their act together down the road. But I guess what I'm trying to say, I wish I could give you the gift of hope during this season. And I know I can't. I wish I could. I wish I could package it for you and I could give it to you. And I know I'm getting a little emotional right now, okay? And I don't mean to. But I've just lost too many good people, okay? And I just don't want to see it happen again. So if you're listening to me, and I know I don't have a billion followers like some of the other people on Scream, on YouTube, and I'm not the most popular guy on Scream or on YouTube. But please, if you feel that hope, if you're feeling good this holiday season, pass that hope on. It doesn't have to be a present. Tell the people you love them. Give your kids a hug. Kiss them right on the face, right on the lips, and tell them how much you love them. And pass on that hope. If you know somebody who's down, and we all do, we all have friends that we know are down during this time of year, okay? Reach out to them. Tell them you love them. Don't give a shit if you're a guy and he's a guy, if you're a girl and he's a girl. Just let them know, man, I love you. It's going to be okay. No matter what you're going through, we're going to get through it together, all right? Okay, I'm sorry. I know I got a little sappy there. But I can't, I don't want to lose anybody else. And I've got some people in my life that are going down, and I've tried to reach out to them, and I hope it helped. If it didn't, if I call somebody else, get on the phone, brother. Get on the phone, sister. You know what I'm talking, and you know who I'm talking about, all right? So, now that you've seen Rev Hagen, an emotional mess, I hope each and every one of you have a happy Yule, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a Happy Kwanzaa. I don't know what the Buddhists celebrate, if they celebrate this time of year, but maybe, get your Buddhist friend another robe or some prayer beads. Hell, I don't know. And again, I'm really not making light of other people's religion, but I thought this was important to say, because I know some people are going through some hard times right now. So please keep your loved ones close. Kiss the shit out of your kids. Give them big, deep hugs. Love your family. Be good to one another. All right? This is the time of year, especially Christmas. I'm digressing again, but especially Christmas. All right? I celebrate Christmas because my kid's not a pagan. All right? My families aren't Wiccans like I am. So I celebrate Christmas like everybody else. And for whatever reason, it's the one day a year where people don't treat each other like shit. Like people actually seem to care about each other, right? Now just imagine If we could do that all year long. But if we can, at least we get one day a year to be human, to love each other, to be kind to one another, right? And that's what it's all about, being kind to one another. So, I'm not going to make a plug for the Patreon page or subscribe or any of that crap. I just want you guys to be all right. So, I know I'm beating a dead horse here. I get it. And I know you're tired of hearing it. But please, 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 don't give up. Never give up. All right? I used to teach martial arts. Last story, I swear to God. Used to teach martial arts. And we tell kids horrible things because kids get kidnapped, right? And my job was to teach children Aikido. So one of the things that we tell kids is, when do you stop fighting? When somebody's got a hold of you, when somebody's trying to take you, when do you stop fighting? Never. You never stop fighting. Because if they got in that car, they'd never be seen again. That's a hard thing to tell a child. Believe me. Believe me, I know. But this is going out to everybody out there. All right? The time to stop fighting is never. Never. Just don't do it. Okay? Just hang on. That's it. That's it from rev.hagen this Yule. May you and your family please have a blessed Yule, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever brand of vodka you're drinking this holiday season. And as always, my brothers and sisters, you keep those heads up.